Welcome back to the Windy City Wire podcast. It's January 16th. It's been a long time since we've been back on the pod. Sam Tenaglia here with you as usual. I wasn't here last week when the OZ show happened, but glad to have Owen Zimmerman and James Marisi back here with me. Guys, it's great to be back. 2025. Is this our year?
Maybe. Great to be back.
Yeah, good to be back. I mean, I think the arrow's pointed up, so
Yeah.
maybe it is.
Let's make it a good one. We're starting off here. Yeah, a lot has happened in sports since we last talked. Um, some sadness, some good for some members of the show. Um, yeah, it's been a great season. I mean, just football's been crushing it lately. Basketball and hockey are in full force. Um, and yeah, even the MLB like transfers, free agencies, kind of working around. So yeah, we're looking forward to baseball, but we still got football that needs to be played. That's where we're going to start off. The Chicago Bears finished their season at 5-12. The last game of the year was a good one where we beat the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. And you know, as a Bears fan, we always love that. I, c- James, you can correct me after I'm done here, but I have no clue. Or what was the number we've lost in a row to Green Bay, but it was great to get a win. We beat the Packers for the first time since 2018, and James already has it down, a 10-game losing streak. Um, Eberflus is gone. Thomas Brown's still there. Ryan Poles is still there. And with the head coaching search is in full force. James, I'll go to you first. Actually, let's get some quick reaction from the Bears Packers game. And the Packers were also eliminated in the playoffs in the first round. So, Owen Zimmerman,
Yeah.
what happened to you guys at the end of the year?
Kind of hard to say. I think, I mean, certainly compared to last year when they went into the playoffs with all the momentum, but not the case this year. The offense kind of got stale down the stretch, which is just frustrating to watch. The vibes weren't very good. What's come out of the end of season press conference or locker room interviews is that they kind of have a leadership issue or seem to have a leadership issue when it comes to the players. Needing captains to step up. It just didn't seem like the energy was very good in the building. Now, obviously, the playoffs wasn't good either, but you can't limp into the playoffs and expect to make a deep run. And I know it was kind of pessimistic last week, and I was unfortunately proven correct. But I mean, I think this year now is the first time they are kind of jumping into the offseason. First time they have cap space now that the Rodgers contract is completely off the books, so they might be looking a little bit different next year. But I mean, anytime you make the playoffs like that and get bounced in the first round, it's disheartening. But I mean, what are you going to do now? I don't think this team was built for a deep run. Would have been nice to see them get the win in Philadelphia, but it is what it is, and hopefully they can kind of reassess to get things back on track and make a run at it next year because the division looks like it's going to continue to be strong.
Yeah, I mean the Eagles are a good team. That's a tough place to play for sure in Philly. It was a close game for a while, but it's that I mean we would have no shot against them. That's a tough draw for the first round. So, um, yeah, sorry about your Packers. Definitely some things need to get fixed, and it's interesting that you guys say a little bit of a leadership problem. I think the Bears are actually, if they can actually get on the same page for once and have like a coach that cares. We do have some leaders. I think Caleb's going to be a leader next year. Hopefully, Jalen Johnson stays. He's going to be a leader. But that's down the road talk. James, it was awesome to see the win versus the Packers at the end of the season. But what were your thoughts? Should we have won? I mean, I feel like we needed something to keep our hopes up.
Yeah, I mean it's typical of them to, or it's really Bears of them to win that game. You know, the season's already done with, our record's already done. We're only a win only worsens our draft position. So, I wasn't really rooting for it, but when we're playing the Packers and the game's as close as it was, I was rooting for us to win, and thankfully Santos got his revenge and made that field goal. But one more thing, the Packers, Christian Watson goes down in that game. And then in the playoff game, you guys are talking about the amount of injuries they had from start to finish. I mean, you're not going to win that game. So I'm not going to pile on it, but just an observation. Just they really beat up team, and that Eagles team is physical, and wouldn't surprise me if they found their way to the Super Bowl.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Owen can attest to it. Seems like everyone was getting injured in that playoff game. I kind of felt bad. Like, you want to put up your best fight, but you can't without some of your main key guys.
Yeah, and the interesting thing too, and I think they were pretty healthy all year up to that point too. They hadn't lost many starters to injury. I mean, throughout the entire regular season, obviously Jordan Love was kind of in and out in the lineup, and he was nicked up all year. But I mean, that was the first time, the first game I can remember having multiple guys just go out of the game at various points. That's frustrating. But I think, as we discussed, either way, this is just not a team that's going to make it happen. Now, unfortunately, the Christian Watson thing's going to probably bleed into next season as well, just because of it's the severity of the injury. But yeah, it's just unfortunate to be so healthy all year, and then when it kind of matters most, for the health to completely fall apart.
Something you can't control. So, yeah. Well, it was an interesting first round of the NFL playoffs. We'll get into it a little bit later in the show. But for the Bears' sake, because that's our main topic on these shows, the Bears have interviewed a lot of coaches so far. There's definitely been rumors going around saying the one guy we really want is Ben Johnson from the Lions. People say he's going to Jacksonville. People say he's going to the Raiders. He's going elsewhere, but everyone in Chicago wants him. I think he would actually welcome a Chicago stay. So we'll see about that. But other coaches, just to name a few, let's just name them all because
A
it's a lot.
few.
Okay, let's do this here. Mike McCarthy, ex-Cowboy and Packers coach. Drew Petzing, okay. Ben Johnson, Anthony Weaver with the Dolphins, Pete Carroll, ex-USC and Seahawks coach, Mike Kafka, he's an offensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator for the Lions, Ron Rivera, ex um, Panthers coach who brought them to the Super Bowl with the Cam Newton years, and also Ron Rivera is an ex-Chicago Bear who played on that 1985 team. Just a little nugget there. Thomas Brown, they've interviewed. David Shaw. Is that the David Shaw who used to coach Stanford, or is that a different Shaw?
Yep.
That's the same one. Okay. And then Arthur Smith, who did not seem to know how to run an offense in Atlanta. And then he was running a decent at best, I would say, Pittsburgh offense last year. We've interviewed him. And then some guys we requested slash scheduled interviews with so far. Matt Campbell, Todd Monken, Joe Brady. I'd like him. He's a Bills guy. Brian Flores, defensive coordinator of the Vikings. Marcus Freeman, coach at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish School. They're going to be playing in the uh, college football championship versus Ohio State, kind of coming up on Monday. We'll get to it later in the show. Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator of the Commanders, and Adam Stenovich. And there's your list. And Mike Vrabel, who's been eliminated so far, he's going to New England. So it's a lot of coaches. Um, the one guy I don't see on the list that I thought they were going to go after um, is Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator for the Bucks. And the Bucks offense was good at times this year. I wouldn't mind adding him to the list. I mean, it's already long enough. But James, do any of those names stand out to you? Is there some people like, no, I don't want this guy? Or you'd be like, I'd be okay with this guy.
Yeah, there's a few guys that I wouldn't be okay with. Drew Petzing, he shouldn't be on this list. Anthony Weaver, Mike Kafka, they don't belong on this list. The two guys who I think it's between are McCarthy and Johnson, and I'd be fine with either of them. I lean McCarthy because I wanted someone with experience, someone who's done it before. I don't know how much of a leader of men he is, but I would welcome it. Another
Yeah.
guy who I wouldn't mind besides those two is Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator for the Lions. These two games he's put out, the one against the Vikings to get that one seed, the last game of the season was incredible. And then whatever they're or and then who did they play? Or no, they're playing this week
Yeah,
against the
Commanders.
Rams or the Commanders, right?
Yep.
So we'll see what he does there. But I don't know. I just like him. I like his name, and I think Ben Johnson said like this guy's plenty capable of being a head coach. So those are my three guys. But the guys I mentioned, Petzing and Kafka, I don't know why they're being interviewed, dude.
We're just going through the list. I guess we're getting all information here. I wouldn't be opposed to Aaron Glenn either. I think Owen would respect his name too. He's done a good job making the defense what it is. And Detroit this year, especially with so many injuries, he's also an ex-NFLer, which you love. Um, and I would like Ron Rivera. Like, I think he is a leader of men. I think he was a good coach for the Panthers. I mean, they had a good running group. They had a good defense led by Kuechly. And then they had I mean, Cam Newton was at his best with that team. I mean, Steve Smith Sr. was out there. I mean, and he's an ex-Bear, Super Bowl champion. He gets it. I think he was on Barstool, pardon my take, a few months ago, and he's like, "Yeah, I would welcome it." So I'd be fine with Ron Rivera. I think a lot of Chicagoans would, even though he's been out of the league for a little bit.
What how do you
Pete
feel
Carroll,
about
I don't want Pete Carroll. Like, I think
nope.
he's just too old. I'm sorry. Like,
How
can't.
about McCarthy?
I want to hear what Owen thinks. I
Yeah.
think he would probably say, "Oh yeah, I'd love the Bears to get McCarthy." Um, because
Well,
I don't know. Just seems like it's never clicked for him in Dallas, whether Jerry Jones had his hands in the mix or I mean, I would like to stay away from Mike McCarthy if I could.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I mean, I think just kind of jumping in here based on what you said
yeah,
there, um, I think ownership has a lot to do with the success or failure rate of a head coach. I think what you said about coaching in Dallas is true. I think that's got to be one of the most difficult places to coach in the NFL, just because I'm sure you're hearing it from Jerry Jones like every day, every week.
yeah.
And I don't think he's letting whoever he hires have the autonomy to actually run their program as they would. And that kind of ties into what I saw today on Twitter. I don't know the validity of this, but I saw that Ben Johnson was supposedly or allegedly leaning towards the Raiders job, um, or he was considering both the Raiders and the Bears. And I think the comment was, well, if you choose the Bears over the Raiders, just given the situation with the quarterback and the roster, that is a tremendous indictment on Bears leadership and what their reputation is across the league. If you'd rather work for Mark Davis with for a team that doesn't have at this point does not have a quarterback on the roster that can play. So I don't know if you guys think that's an issue. If you think that people would not want to work for the Kevin Warrens and the McCaskies of the world, if
oh,
that ends up being the case, if Ben Johnson goes elsewhere, obviously I think Mike McCarthy has proven he can handle it, just given where he came from. But I think that's kind of an overlooked thing a lot in these hiring cycles is just the influence of ownership and leadership, and how hard or difficult it is to work for certain owners in this league.
Well, that was well said. I totally agree with you. Um, I think look at Jim Harbaugh out in San Diego. He had full autonomy to make his decisions, get his guys, do whatever he needed to get that team to the playoffs this year, and did pretty well up until the last game versus the Texans. Um, I worry. I know Warren and Poles aren't the biggest names, or as Jerry Jones, but maybe they're just rifling through things and not really good for a head coach. You never know. But yeah, I guess you're turning me on to Mike McCarthy a little bit. I'd be fine with it. I just want our quarterback to be good. That's all I want.
this is that Owen brings up a good point. It is definitely concerning that Kevin Warren has his hands so far in football operations as he does. He was brought here to build a stadium. There's been no movement. All he's gotten is, you know, negative. reviews when it comes to that. But Ben Johnson, I'm pretty sure wanted to bring his own GM, and you had all the reason to fire Ryan Poles this offseason, and you're just doing it again. You're going to be misaligned. You're going to hire a head coach, probably McCarthy, and whatever happens this year, if you don't win this year, the GM will be fired. And then here comes the GM, and then, oh, I don't like the quarterback, and we're back where we are again. KO with a nice text just now.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just misalignment. We've seen it throughout our Bears fandom here, Sam. But yeah, I mean, McCarthy has won a Super Bowl, has done it before. I would gladly take him. But yeah, if the Raiders do somehow get Johnson, and I don't know where they're picking, I know it's in the top of the draft, but um, you know, that'd be crazy. And the thing with the with Brady, how he's doing the Lions game this week, and how he's gonna kind of be around the team and Johnson, and the Bears have to wait. This goes to what I wanted to say next. The Bears having to wait this long to make this decision, whether it's Johnson or if it's Aaron Glenn or someone who's still playing, Todd Monken. These guys have to put their staffs together. And once these jobs start rolling out, offensive coordinators are taken, defensive coordinators are taken. I just kind of worry if we do get Johnson, who is his offensive coordinator going to be? Who is his defensive coordinator going to be? I wonder how connected he is versus a guy like McCarthy.
Yeah, I isn't our quarterback or our defensive coordinator staying from last year? I don't know. Williams, I think it was like Eric Williams. I think he's staying. And I mean, you could probably have Thomas Brown be the offensive coordinator. I don't think he's getting head coaching looks around the league just yet. I think he would be fine with having an offensive coordinator role as long as it's okay with Ben Johnson. So, um, I'm hoping it happens sooner than later, the hire, but they might wait till they can interview as many people as they possibly can, which means waiting till all these teams are knocked out of the playoffs.
I just, I think you got to go and you should get a guy as fast as possible. I mean, obviously they're going to wait and wait and wait, but you could wait and wait and wait, and Ben Johnson goes to the Vegas, and you're stuck with, Kafka or one of these bums.
I mean, I'd actually like to see Pete Carroll in New York. Get him out there.
We'll
Oh,
see.
and you got any ideas on how that just the in general where some coaches are going to go around the league? Like who are the Jaguars going to get? Who are the Jets going to get? I can't
I don't
remember.
know. I mean, I thought it was interesting how quickly Vrabel was hired for New England. I mean, it seemed like they barely even went through an interview process, which is odd considering how Gerard Mayo was allegedly their hand-picked successor to Belichick prior to last season. So I mean, I don't know where things are gonna fall out. I mean, I haven't looked at like who are the favorites to be hired in certain places. I'm not sure who's connected to other positions. Really, the Bears position is the only one I've actually heard much detail in terms of who the favorites are. So I don't know. I did see that Steve Spagnuolo was interviewed for at least one, at least the Jaguars job, probably others as well. He's obviously coordinated a pretty great defenses, back-to-back Super Bowls with Kansas City. Mm, But yeah, other than that, I do not know. Do you know the number of openings off the top of your head, Sam? Is it six, five, six? Does that sound right?
I could double check. 1 second.
But
Uh,
I'm interested to see, obviously, how quickly with how quickly the New England job filled. Like, who's the second? What's the second domino to fall? And if that like starts a chain reaction, and these names start getting snatched up pretty quickly after that.
yep. It looks like there are six right now. Yeah. Yeah. I think the reason for the Patriots getting Vrabel so quickly is just Kraft's familiar with him. I mean, they played him in the playoffs when he was with the Titans a few years ago. Vrabel was always on those teams for so many years. But yeah, I agree. Like we'll see what what's the next domino to fall, as you said. Who's
No,
gonna
I did actually that would bring
What's
up
gonna
a good
change
one.
it
The
up?
other name I saw was and be interested in your comments on this, the Deion Sanders to the Cowboys rumors, because I think that would be as disastrous of a hire in any sport ever. And I'm curious if you guys agree or would want to see that just for the potential for entertainment that would bring.
I think it would be very entertaining. They'd sell so many tickets. Dion should make the move if he wants it. Both his sons are leaving, right? They're leaving Colorado.
Yep.
So yeah, go. Let's get the Dallas show back on the road. I want to hear. I'll get James' opinion, and then Owen. Why do you think it's so much of a disaster at brewing if he does go there? But James, what do you think?
I like it. I'm with you. I'm his kids are leaving. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, I think this kind of goes back to what I said about before, like working for Jerry Jones. I think it would be such a personality clash and two alphas fighting for control. I think, I mean, it's kind of similar when I had Jimmy Johnson, the big personality of Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones that clashed, and that obviously led to Jimmy Johnson leaving and non so ceremonious terms. So I
Hey,
don't
I
see how
mean, they didn't they clashed, but they won something.
they did win. They did win. I also have questions about how good of a coach Deion Sanders actually is. Um,
It's true.
I think that's a discussion to be had, but it'll be interesting. And if he goes there, he presumably would not be coaching his son,
Hmm.
which I thought
He
that was one
might
of the reasons why he'd be connected to the Raiders job, because that could be an interesting matchup. But yeah, I don't really picture him as an NFL guy right now, but I do think that would be just an interesting clash of personality in Dallas if that were to happen.
get Dion to Jacksonville, build that city up. That'd be funny. All right. Any other thoughts on the Bears or Packers, guys? It's waiting game right now for us. Just going through these coaching searches and we'll see who it ends up it's gonna be, and we'll keep talking about it next week.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right, cool. So before we jump into more Chicago sports, I think let's just pivot into the NFL playoffs. So last week we had the divisional games, and that was the Texans handily beating the Chargers. Justin Herbert threw three interceptions, what was it? Three interceptions, and he
I think
threw
it's
like
four, was it not?
four interceptions. It was, you're correct. And it was four interceptions in the regular season for him. So he matched his
Jeez.
number versus the Texans. I didn't think the Texans defense was that good, but yeah, the Chargers did not show up at all.
Yeah, he was horrible. Derek Stingley, that corner for them, was all over the place. I think he might have had two picks.
Yeah. All right, they had us pick six, the team.
Hmm.
That was a tough one. And then the Ravens beat the Steelers. I think everyone saw that one coming. Lamar and Derrick Henry looked great. It's going to be interesting how Derrick Henry faces against the Bills coming up this weekend. That's going to be an interesting one. Um, and then Bills beat the Broncos, as I just alluded to. The Broncos scored first, and we didn't see them at all the rest of the day. 31-7, Bills. Tough going into the Bills or into Buffalo for any team. And then on the NFC side, the Vikings, they also didn't show up to play the Rams, and the Rams come out on top for the city of LA, 27-9. They looked pretty good, and they definitely have a great offense and a smart coach. Are the Rams going to make a run, James?
Possibly. I like the Eagles this next game, but they really looked like a good team last week.
Yeah, it'll be interesting seeing the good old LA guys going to Philly, where they're just like trying to tear your arms off, even in the
Yeah.
crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys see that video, of that lady, and they were just making fun of her and like just calling her ugly? That was terrible.
Crazy video.
Yeah. Oh, and you see that?
I saw of it. I didn't want to watch it. I was not in the right headspace for the
Yeah.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah. I can see why. Uh, the Bucks came close, but they lost the Commanders, Jaden Daniels. Ah,
Uh,
looking good, and I don't want to think about it.
no, it's every time I turn my head, he's doing something. Anytime I look at my phone, Jaden Daniels, anytime, anywhere. It's horrible.
Hey, Dan Quinn. he was the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys last year. He's got some cojones. Um, he went
Mm-hmm.
for it on fourth down like four times. Even in the last few plays of the game, he went for it, and they were doing a QB draw to the right, and then like they thought, I think the Bucks thought they had him in the background or in the backfield, and then he scoots to the first down. That was right at the end of the game. That is
Oh yeah.
ballsy.
Yeah, he anytime they had a third and long and he just drops back, he finds someone, finds McLaurin, or he'll run around three guys. It's really it's a problem, but it is what it is.
Oh, and did you have De'Ami Brown scoring a touchdown?
Uh-huh. No, I didn't. But I think one of the interesting takeaways though is like that was the only competitive game, or I mean, obviously the only
Hmm.
one score game. And I'm just looking at the early lines for this upcoming week for the divisional round. I know at least on Saturday, those are both at least I think at least a touchdown. Um, so that's kind of unusual. Hopefully they end up being a little bit more competitive than wild card round. But I did think it was interesting. Don't remember around playoffs like that where there really was only one game that was competitive till the very end.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a slow, kind of boring slate of games we had last weekend. I totally agree with you there. This week, yeah, I'll list the lines. Chiefs -8 versus the Texans. Um, Lions -9.5 versus the Commanders. I might take the Commanders there. Um, Eagles -6.5 versus the Rams, and Bills and Ravens. Ravens favor just by one. That's probably going to be your shootout. Yeah. Um, do you guys remember that Chiefs Texans game a few years ago when the Texans went up like 28-0 in the first half and Chiefs came storming back? If we're gonna see something similar this week, we'll see.
I do remember that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be a good this is now the divisional round. Uh yeah, it'll be interesting to see you guys have any predictions for this weekend.
I don't know. Now that you say that, Eagles -6.5 just gives me some pause with Stafford and how good they looked last week. But and then you think about the Eagles, just they're kind of that team that has that classic letdown, and they're at home. All their fans are gonna be pissed. I don't know. Maybe might switch to Rams there, but I do like your Commanders +9.
Yeah, I like that. I think they're going to keep it close, but Lions are a great team. They're just
Yeah,
banged.
yeah. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just kind of going off of what James said is like for all of the lines, I think the underdogs kind of jumped out at me. I think the lines seem larger than I would have guessed they would have been for all of the games. So I kind of lean underdog on all of them. And especially, I'm kind of surprised now. I know it opened up, I think, as the Bills being 1 point favorites. Now the Ravens are favored by one in Buffalo. That is an interesting line to me.
Hmm,
So I mean, yeah, as of right now, I would say I tend to think that the underdogs for all of the games are good plays, maybe with the exception of Houston, who I don't necessarily trust.
sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, just the line seemed larger, at least for the Lions and the Eagles, larger than I would have expected going into this week.
hmm Yeah. Good point. All right, it'll be a good weekend. We got two games on Saturday, two games on Sunday. Um, yeah, James, I'm coming over on Sunday to watch the games, I guess.
Yeah, let's watch them.
Sweet.
Yeah, the Ravens Bills game, that'll be cinema.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. 5 o'clock, 5:30 start time there, and the other one's 2 o'clock. A little different than your average Sunday night viewing. Okay, we got 10 minutes left. Let's go into honestly, we don't even need to talk about the Bulls. They're in 10th place, but they're in the play-in. Good for them. And the
Yeah.
Blackhawks are just squirming around at the bottom of the league. It's not good. Um,
Yeah.
Going into college football, I do want to get some trivia at the end, but we got a
Mm,
big game this Monday. James and every other Irishman or Catholic in Chicago is very happy that the Notre Dame Fighting Irish will be playing in the game.
yeah,
Yeah.
stoked. What a win at against Penn State. on what was it, Thursday? It was weird. Thursday night game. I wish it was the Friday night, but yeah, man, it was a really sweaty game. 10-0 at half. We're getting oh no, my dad's calling me. 10-0 at half, losing, kind of just beside myself. Or no, we get that field goal at the end, so it's 10-3. Get the ball coming out, score, tie it, get some stops, kind of back and forth. Their quarterback throws an interception with 30 seconds left. And then James Franklin's face on the sideline. Man, um, our kicker hits the three. Ohio State beats Texas. So, I think it's the two best teams. Um, I think Oregon still got screwed out of this by having to play Ohio State in that second round matchup after the bye, but whatever. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this Ohio State team is pretty scary. I guess they have this really good wide receiver who I think he had 0 yards last week. So we'll see how good he is this week.
Yeah, Jeremiah Smith, that was that guy, and obviously Sam bet on him to score a touchdown. That's why he sucked. Yeah, it's gonna be a good game. I'm surprised the Marisi guys aren't going to the game.
I, I don't know. My dad's in Arizona. He went to the Vikings game out there because of
That's
the
cool.
got moved, so he went. But I haven't talked to him about going. I think I was downtown for the Indiana game, and then the past two I've been here just watching. So I think I'm just gonna keep it here and see what happens. But it
Yeah.
would be something if they could win this. It really would.
Well, I'll be cheering my heart out for Ohio State.
Dude,
I'm not Catholic, but I'm just a wee bit Irish, but that's not gonna swing me.
it's fine. It's okay.
All right. Oh, and any predictions?
No,
I have not. I mean, interestingly enough, though, I mean, I do feel like I know a bunch of Ohio State people and Notre Dame people. So either way, it's going to be entertaining for me looking at the talking to the losers fan base after the game. I just
Yeah.
hope it's competitive. I mean, these are two
yeah.
supremely talented teams, and I think it just comes down to which quarterback does not make the mistake. I mean, that's kind of what decided the Notre Dame Penn State game. Drew Aller, as he almost always does, did make the critical mistake, and they lost the game. So we'll see if Will Howard can play like a real quarterback, and obviously if Riley Leonard, and also that backup who came in from Notre Dame was pretty good when Leonard got concussed. But if
Mhm.
Riley Leonard can play a good, clean game, I think it'll be competitive.
Yeah. I think everyone just wants to see a good game.
Yeah, just don't get blown out, please.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts before we jump into trivia, guys?
Um, just no, that's good. No, yeah, we can
All
jump
right.
into the trivia.
All right. Perfect. One last thing from me. Kyle Tucker signed a deal, so he's not going to arbitration, which is good. We still got to sign him long term, or else the deal was a bust. All right. Moving into trivia. James, I sent you both the answers to this, and I did not look, Owen. And I have the screenshots of the question and some hints and stuff. And I'm going to share my screen for us both to see. Okay,
Yep.
Owen, you ready?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, here.
Okay.
So this is, can you guys see this screen right here? That the question is name the last 30 NBA players with 725 assists or plus assists in a season. And these hints, Owen, those are the year and the player. Are you ready to play?
Yeah. Yeah, I can give it a shot.
Okay. I don't know a lot of these, but James, or Owen, you can start. James will be our judge.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with Pacers 2024's Tyrese Halliburton.
Correct.
I'm gonna go with Clippers 2016. That would be Chris Paul.
Chris Paul. Correct.
Okay.
Okay, then I'll do Dallas, New Jersey Nets 2008. I'm assuming that is Jason Kidd.
Correct.
Jazz 2010. That's got to be Darren Williams.
Mhm. Ooh. Yep. Yep.
Cool.
Okay, let's see. What was the one? Oh, Magic 1993, I believe, is Penny Hardaway.
Sorry, words. Incorrect.
Oh,
I guess I'll try that one. Um,
Try that one.
Oh, I think I know it now.
uh, actually don't know that one, but I'll go Hornets 1994. That's gonna be Larry Johnson.
Mm, hold on a minute.
Okay.
Hornets. It's just really
Fourth
small.
up front on the right.
Fourth up on the right. No.
Oh man. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go back for that Magic 1993. I think it's got to be Scott Skiles.
Yep, that's it.
Nice. All right. Bread and butter Sonics 2002. That would be Gary Payton.
Yep,
Okay.
Dang. Oh, I see. Top middle is Hawks 2023. I think that's Trey Young.
that's Trey Young.
Bucks 2000. I'm gonna go Sam Cassell.
Yeah, that's Sam Cassell.
Mhm.
Good one.
See. I see Suns. I don't know if that's the right year. Hold on. The Suns 2011, and my hunch is that that's Steve Nash, but I don't know. He might have been gone by then.
Oh yeah, that's him.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Legend.
Jazz 1997. That's Stockton. John Stockton.
Middle. Yep, that's John Stockton. Yep.
Okay. It's hard to
Um,
remember which ones have already gone.
yeah, no, now I'm getting down to like the 90s, and none of these are jumping out at me as
Yeah.
being obvious. Hold on a
Try,
second. Did we do
try to get that Hornets 94 one.
Hornets 94?
My best guess was Larry Johnson.
Yeah, Hornets 94. I don't know. Would that be who played for the Hornets? Well, I guess it could be. Don't know a lot of Hornets from that era.
I know who it is.
All right, Sam, you let me know. You go for it.
Okay, Hornets got to be Muggsy Bogues.
Yep.
All right.
I never thought he was that good.
I never
That's
thought he was
ironic.
that good either.
That's why I was hesitant to say it. Yeah, and Sam, let me know if you see any other ones that jump out at you because
Okay, let's see.
I've kind of hit a
Lakers
wall here.
91.
Is Rockets 2017? That's James Harden.
Yep.
Wizards 2017. That's John Wall.
Yep.
Wizards 2021. It's not. Is it Bradley Beal? Is it Ish Smith?
No.
I just want
Wizards
you to get that.
2021.
We got a minute
Was
left.
did
Yeah,
Russell Westbrook play in the Wizards or am I making that up?
Yeah, that was Russ.
that's probably it. Yeah.
What's Lakers 91? Bottom left.
Derek Fisher, Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Cavs
Uh,
2018.
is Spurs 1996 Tony Parker? Is that too early?
Was Kyrie Irving the Cavs too? I didn't even see that one.
Cavs was LeBron. Sam, what was the one you
Oh,
said?
Is Spurs 1996 either Avery Johnson, Vinny Del Negro, or Tony Parker?
It's Avery Johnson.
there
Okay.
you go.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think that's about all I can do. So,
Yeah.
We gotta figure out a way I could cross them out or something.
yeah, we'll find a way. All right, I'm gonna wrap up the show here, boys. That was fun doing the trivia. My screen's frozen, but thanks for joining us at the Windy City Wire podcast. My name's Sam Tenaglia. Owen Zimmerman, James Marisi. There he is. There he is. Thanks for listening, everybody.